Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers. I'm your instructor for NE 235, and this is Module 8, UV Mapping Stylistic Character, Clothing, and All the Assets, Part 1. Alright, so now we've got the modeling completely finished, and we are now working on laying out UVs. So, the course assignment, you have a choice. I prefer that we do UDIM UV tiles. I'm not exactly sure where your understanding of UDIM tiles are, and I know you how to do standard. I know you know how to do standard conventional UVs, and if you're more comfortable with that, feel free to do that. Again, I don't support that with any videos in this module because I'm pretty sure most of you know how to do that. And if you don't, there is a quick tutorial down here, basic UV mapping techniques, that can help you get started with that. If you need more tutorials on that, just send me an email at jbyers3@gcc.edu for hard surface modeling, UV mapping. Again, most of you know how to lay out UVs, so I won't take too much of your time going over that. But the big thing is more and more studios are using UDIM UV tiles for characters and vehicles, and because it just allows you more freedom, and you can get a lot more textile density resolution out of the images. And it's very easy on memory as far as when you bring it into Maya or any other package, especially Unreal 4. And Unreal 5 is going to be coming out pretty soon, which is going to pretty much knock your socks off. From what I understand, it's going to be doing real-time voxels. There's some other really cool. I mean, you can bring sounds like you can bring ZBrush models, high resolution models in. I have to see it to believe it. I mean, obviously we'll see how it goes, but it looks pretty promising, so I'm excited about that. Anyway, back to this. So we'll have instructional videos just on the UDIM tiling. So if you're not, I would love to have you watch those videos just to get an understanding of UDIM tiles. Even if you're not going to do, even if you're going to do standard conventional UVs, I think it's important for you guys to learn it. But you have a choice with your character if you want to do it or not. So the usual, once we get the UDIM standard conventional or UDIM UV tiles started, you'll see the benefits of that. Hopefully you will use it and give it a try. So again, the advantage of UDIM tiles over standard conventional UV tiles is they're not bound by one UV texture space. As you guys can see here, this allows me to be a lot more free with my space. So what I can do is I find the largest space, and within one UV tile I can create a map, a UV shell, and then I check its textile density, and then what I do is I go and unitize all of them to be the exact same resolution density, so we don't have any issues with resolution of textures between the neck and the body. Okay, and we should have that consistent throughout, and that's easy to do with UDIM tiles. Okay, so it gives you a little more freedom, and you can create a lot higher resolution with UDIM tiles. Yes, there's definitely more dead space in here, but that's not an issue anymore because each one of these tiles are 4K. So I'm still getting 2K out of this, okay, out of this texture format, and almost a little over 3K on this one. We're almost filling up the whole thing. And the leg, you know, as you can see, the leg takes up most of the room, and then you can see my arms and fingers and hand. And this is what a conventional UV layout looks like. And you can see this is a 4096 as well, and it's well packed. I mean, it's not perfect, but you still have a little bit of space here. But what's nice about this is that you don't have to worry about extra maps. But the thing is, with this one, you have a lot less textile density. In fact, it's 4 times. It's basically 4 times less efficient than these, because I can get a lot more texture space or textile density with these than I can with these guys here. Okay. And also, what I like about Udem tiles, it's hard to illustrate it on this particular example, but if it's just the body and it's organic body, we don't have too many textures. We have basically one texture map we're really thinking about here, and that's the flesh, right? The skin. Now think about a car, though. A car would actually use this. So if you were just doing basically a naked human being, it's not going to really benefit us that much. But we're not. We have clothing, we have different materials. So the whole idea with Udem tiles, what I like to use them for, is that I'm able to assign different shells. Let's say if I wanted to do skin, so I would lay out all the skin shells. And then let's say I have my shirt. So I lay out my shirt, and it's going to be like, let's say it's going to be leather, or it's going to be cloth, some sort of cloth. And I would put all the texture, or excuse me, the shells in here. So I like to divide these up, every Udem tile as its own material. And so, like a material ID. And I really like that. I've really gotten used to doing that, and I can do a lot of really cool stuff with that. And it keeps you from having to mask everything in Substance Painter, which is really nice too as well. So in all, I really like Udem tiles. So let's go through this. You guys know all this stuff. Alright, so lesson texturing, you guys kind of know about that. You can kind of breeze through this because most of you guys know this stuff, but I have it up here anyway just in case some of you weren't exactly sure what a UV was. Even though you're doing it, you may not know exactly what it is. So I have that in there, so please read that lecture. And then we've got a basic UV mapping techniques. You can look at that and go through that real quick. And this is kind of basically getting into physically based rendering, PBR, and this is super important for you guys to understand. So I got a couple videos on that, so please watch those. And then the Udem tiling, this kind of goes in depth on, and I love Flip Normal, so you should subscribe. It's a great little place for you guys to learn off to the side. So working with Udems, they have a great little video here. They really explain it well. So please watch that, and that gives you an idea of why they're so efficient. And then basics on lighting. Some of us have forgotten the 3-point lighting techniques. Not all of you, just kind of reminders, so watch those. And then, of course, assignment. Again, you're basically, in a nutshell, looking at all this, it's basically you're just either UV tiling, or you're just doing standard conventional UVs on your character and your clothing. So I basically push the Udem tiling because I think that's the way for the future, and we should be learning it, and that's why I'm teaching it. Standard UV mapping is fairly straightforward. You know, you lay out the UVs for one particular object. You can pack several separate objects together, occupying the same UV space, but again, it's not as efficient as Udem tile UVs. So keep that in mind as you're going through these. I just go through the body because I know we all created the body. Now I have no idea about your shirts or what clothing. I know what you're doing, but I'm not going to do 20 videos on each one of your pieces of clothing and show you how to lay those out. This basically takes you through all the tools you'll need to lay out UVs. So watch this. Even if you're not going to be UDIM tiling, it works with everything as far as how I lay the UVs out and how I cut. So you're gonna have to know how to cut things. So I show you how to do that. It takes a lot of practice to cut seams, and don't worry if you don't get it right away. Watch it a couple times and save your work often. And as far as the clothing and all the assets, that's really up to you. This is what my UDIM tile layout looks like, and I know all of these pieces. So the head, this is the shirt, this is the pants, this is the body, the torso, the legs, the arms and fingers, this is the shoe, this is the eyeball, the tongue, the eyelashes, and the socks. This is the hair right here, the hair cards that I've done, and here's my gums and my teeth. Now, we haven't done any of the tongue or the gums or the teeth. I really don't think we're going to need it for this assignment. But if you feel like you want to do that, feel free to do that. But I would not have those visible when we do our blend shapes. Okay, that'll come later. But right now, we're just UV mapping, and that's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking you to texture. If you guys want to go ahead and start texturing, feel free to start bringing stuff in. You'll have to send your models out, and you can do this as separate pieces if you want to. So if you want to have a shirt on, if you're doing traditional, you can send out your pants by themselves, or your shirt by themselves, or your hair by itself, or the shoes by itself with its own UV map. I don't have a limit on how many UV maps you can use for standard, because it's going to be for film. It's not for gaming. Normally for gaming you'd have maybe 3 or 4. I wouldn't go much more than I would say 5 or 6. I'm okay with that. But anything over that's kind of crazy, because it takes way more space than the UDIM tiles does. Because the way the UDIM tiles works, if I'm understanding this right, is that it instances these, it understands, it gives it a number, and so what it does, it takes it and it takes this, it's like a book, and you put all the pieces of paper together into one. It stacks them on top of each other. So really 10, okay, I have 10 UV tiles here. It stacks everything together to 1, okay, but it sees it separately, okay, which is crazy. So I'm getting a 4096, but times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 4096 times 10, that's my resolution. Okay, you can never get that with, even if you separate these, you'll never be able to get what UDIM tiling gives you. Okay, all right. With that said, you got it pretty much. You have it pretty much done, and then I'll have a turn-in instructions to kind of take you through everything. And here's the renderings of your front perspective and your wireframe, back perspective and wireframe, and just kind of keep in mind how consistent the edge loops are from the hair to the shirt to the pants all the way down to the shoes. Look at that. It's because I took time in making sure that my low resolution edge loops were spaced evenly all throughout the entire body. So this is going to really work well with deforming. Okay. Now, one thing you got to keep in mind, that when you are doing low poly, you always want to keep your low poly hidden and duplicated, and make sure you keep it and don't lose it, and keep it in a safe place. And then basically before you UV map, you need to subdivide it by 1. The smoothing tool, subdivide it by 1. And this is what I have. I subdivided everything by 1. Okay. What you don't want to see is a super high resolution shirt and then a medium resolution pants and medium resolution arms and the face and the hair, and then this is super high res. You want to keep everything even, because you can see that this line almost matches up with this one exactly, right? So when I bend the arm will not go through the shirt. Now if you have really high resolution here and low resolution on the body and you move that arm, it may go through the shirt, and that can really play havoc with rigging it. Okay? Alright, so I wish you the best of luck, and please watch the turn-in instructions video, and it'll take you through everything that you need. But I hope you had a lot of fun modeling. It's been a long journey. 8 weeks in. It sounds crazy, but we got there, and you should be very proud of what you guys have done so far. And I've been really excited and happy to see you guys' work, and you guys have some really great costumes, if you want to call outfits, and some of you designed your own, which is really cool. So anyway, I'll see you in the next module 9, where you're actually going to go in and start texturing. So if you guys want to start texturing the minute you get done and your UV maps look great and you have everything ready to go, and just remember, you got to send your models out. How do you prep your models? Is you send your models out, and you want to make sure that your high poly, your medium poly that you have, let me get back down here real quick, that this model, like I said, it depends on how you, with Udem tiling you can send the whole model out as a single mesh. I normally don't do that. I basically go in there. I think I have it open. Let me see. Let me show you here real quick. Basically, what I do is I have everything separated, and then what I do is I select everything, and I just go to delete by type history, freeze transformations, all that stuff. You have to do that. But then you go into export selection and you save it out as an OBJ. Now this is Udem tiling, right? If you do Udem tiles, you can do that and import the whole entire thing in, because basically what I'm doing is material IDs with the Udem tiles. So I have the shirt on its own Udem tile, the pants, so I can go in there and really concentrate on the shirt, and then the pants, and then the shoes, and the hair. And I can do that all separately with the whole object in there. Okay, so you'll be able to see what I do that in my next module, module 9. I'll show you how to do all that if you do Udem tiles. Now if you do standard tiles, you would probably take the shirt, unwrap the shirt and the pants together, or unwrap the shirt by itself to keep it pretty clean and in its own UV shell, and then you send the shirt out by itself, and then you texture it and bring it back in here, and then you send the pants out. But you could do that if you wanted to, or you could share the pants and the shirt, and then you would have to mask it in Substance Painter if you're comfortable with doing that. There's videos out there you guys can watch to mask things. It's kind of a hassle. I don't really like doing it that way. And when Udem tiles came around, I just go like, okay, I laid everything out, now I pop it out and go ahead and save it out, and I can do everything right in Substance Painter. And the nice thing is I can see the textures together. Okay, so I can see the shirt and the pants and the shoes and and the skin and all the hair and everything together in Substance Painter, which is really nice. It's convenient and it's efficient. Okay, so keep that in mind. Udem tiles is the way to go. A lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon, and all the high-end software is supporting it. Maya, Mari, Unreal 5 will be supporting it 100%. And there's a bunch of other pieces of software that are jumping on board because it's so powerful. Alright, have a great day, and please watch the turn-in instructions. Alright, I'll see you in the next module.